Everybody, welcome back. Sports Talk in the Man Cave once again, Zoom edition number 2. And today we got a few good topics. First of all, I want to mention that we are going to start Alpha Cave Sports Talk group on Facebook. Guys, what do y'all think about that?
It's exciting. Hopefully we get a lot of people to join so they can enter the debate with us on our opinions on sports.
I think a lot of competitive banter will come out of it. I mean, people can kind of decide, how they differentiate from some of our strong opinions or whatnot.
I know, because I just can't wait for Carlos to see that most people will agree with me and not with his ideas there. So I think that'll be good, Carlos. I don't know.
I think it'll be good too because you'll get to learn how to make comments and stuff on Facebook. Maybe you can learn.
But you know what? I'll always have somebody there that'll agree with me. Don't worry.
You always have a personal assistant.
But I kind of like that it's not going to be just one topic. It's going to be football, baseball, basketball, whatever people want to talk about in sports, which would be awesome. I think they'll have a lot of fun with that. I think we'll have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that goes. But let's get into our main topic that we're going to talk about today. Now, before we became Alpha Cave, we made a couple of videos. Carlos, Chale, you made a couple of videos about who was the GOAT, MJ or LeBron or anybody else that you all think was a GOAT, right? And those were our first videos that we made here on this channel. And we're going to bring that up once again because The Last Dance brought up a lot of, fire of people trying to think of who's better and all that type of stuff. So, Charlie, let's start with you. Tell us who you think is the best and tell us why.
We all know who the best is. Michael Jordan is the best. Michael Jordan, 6 championships, 6. He was the MVP all 6 times. Everybody looks up to Michael Jordan. They even say that he's like a god. Like, he's not for real. They thought he was only like somebody on TV, and that's not the same with LeBron. Jordan, everyone would say the same thing. And I didn't remember anybody really talking bad about Jordan the way that they knock LeBron. Flopper and Llorón and whatever it may be. I don't ever remember that from Michael Jordan. And, and everybody knows Carlos is too young. He even showed it with a picture that he posted. That's how old he was. What could he know back then? There's nothing he could know. He can't remember. What could he possibly know? So it doesn't matter what he says.
Hold your comments, Carlos. Let's ask Gilbert first before you start talking here a little bit.
Yeah, I'm pretty well known for being objective, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I narrowly, I still think that Michael Jordan, I would take him over LeBron, but I think that he's closing the gap. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think he's not just because he's a Laker.
Yes,
no. I think he is closing the gap, but I would stick with Michael Jordan just because I think that every time he played a game, you just had no doubt they were going to win. There was no doubt. LeBron James could play, even before the Warriors, and you had doubts. Once Michael Jordan got to that stage where he bulked up, he was out of the youth movement when they were too young to compete against the Pistons. Once they got into their prime, there was no stopping them.
Yeah. Carlos.
Look, I may be young, and
show the picture.
That doesn't mean I've never gone back to watch Michael Jordan games. I've seen him play. I've seen his competition, which I'm never going to stop dogging his competition. They're white, skinny guys that are lanky as hell, that are 200 pounds, that cannot move their feet. Besides the point, who was more dominant in their era? Yes, Michael Jordan dominated like no other athlete has ever dominated before. Maybe Tiger Woods, Roger Federer, but Michael Jordan has dominated more than LeBron. But the reason for that is because of the competition he's going up against. The game was not international as much as now it's a worldwide game. There's the best players in the entire world. At that time, it was barely opening up to international level. They would still dominate the Olympics. Now there's competition all over the world. The best players from the world enter the NBA. Besides the fact, Jordan never had to play a team like the Warriors. Jordan's biggest competition was probably those Utah Jazz. Or am I wrong? Early in his career, it was those Celtics. And he didn't beat those Celtics until they got old. Earlier, after that, it was the Pistons. And he didn't beat those Pistons until they got old. And then once he had Scottie Pippen, Phil Jackson, and Horace Grant for the first three, and then Dennis Rodman for the next three, that's when he won. Now, he was the leader of that team. He was the best player by far on that team in the NBA at that time. But the competition was so far behind. He was an athlete that was ahead of his time. Now, when you compare the numbers, LeBron has better numbers. The only thing that you say sets him apart is that killer instinct. Well, the numbers prove that LeBron was more clutch, and I showed that in that other video. Your eyes are lying to you. Break it down the way I did. I spent hours breaking down numbers.
But I don't think it matters about. I mean, it's a different era. I mean, you drop Michael Jordan in this era, he's going to be just as dominant. No. I mean, also another thing that I want to point out is the numbers. They're very skewed. You can't really go by the numbers. Karl Malone has better numbers than a lot of people. He has better numbers than Tim Duncan, and that doesn't mean he's better than Tim Duncan. So,
I'll tell you one thing as well. Yes, I'm going to tell you one thing as well. LeBron wouldn't have lasted this many years as healthy as he is if he would have been trying to drive in the lane back then. He would have gotten knocked on his butt. He would have had injuries all over the place, no matter what. The kids now are kind of like sissy footing around there. They don't get knocked on their butt the way they used to.
Nah, those skinny white guys are not knocking down 250-pound LeBron James.
Unless he's on some super...
knocking him down. Unless he flops, which he might flop.
No. They're knocking anybody down. Down. Even centers would go down. They would get tackled. They would get undercut.
Centers were 220 pounds at that time.
It doesn't matter how many pounds they undercut you. They do put. I mean, no. He wouldn't last this long, no matter what.
Rodman was skinny. I mean, Dennis Rodman was skinnier than most of his guys, and he was still taking cheap shots. So I mean, it really doesn't matter about. I mean, it's just a more physical play. LeBron is a freight train to the hole, and that wouldn't have happened if he played in the 90s.
When LeBron needs to be physical, he's been physical. He scored those against the Celtics. When they beat the Celtics in that series, he scored like the last 29 points all by himself, just by taking it to the hole.
Yeah, because they couldn't do anything to him. Just put your hand in the way or get out of the way. You couldn't.
The Celtics were playing physical against him.
Oh yeah,
I remember.
Yeah. Physical now is not what you call physical then. No.
Jordan dominated his era because of the competition. Let's be honest. Gilbert, you agreed with me last time. The competition was not as good.
It wasn't as good, but the rules were also different.
Of the time, and
they had to guard Jordan man to man.
You're too young to remember that they're good. You just see
they had to guard Jordan man to man. There was no zones in the league back then. So now you could lay off your guy, as long as you're not in the paint, you could lay off your guy, and you could help out on LeBron James. If everybody could help out on Jordan,
if you leave your man and you try to go into that paint, you're gonna get hit.
No, if you're playing anybody man to man, they're gonna score on you. I'll tell you that. Any good athlete is gonna score on any defender, whether how good he is man to man.
No, you're not everybody's playing tight on their man. You're sagging down under the basket. Anybody gets close to that basket, they're getting hit.
Back in those days, you couldn't sag that much. You had to stay within a certain distance from your man.
Exactly within a certain
distance. It was hard as crossover people also because the hand checking. There was hand checking back in the day. They took it off, so now it's easier to get to the paint. And also, there's no more big man.
Hand checking works both ways. Did you see that Utah Jazz bucket that he made at the end of the game? He gave the other guy a little hand check and pushed him out of the way.
He slapped it away.
His momentum was already taking him that way. They made it clear.
But you guys think that
the motion of his hand was nothing.
You guys think LeBron wouldn't be as good in the 90s, but you think that Jordan would be as good now?
Yeah. I mean, you drop him in any era. I mean, you still see like the athletic ability and the way he would just manufacture shots and hit incredible shots. That guy could play in any era.
The majority of the people have always said Jordan is number one, and you know that for number two. They're not even sure if LeBron would be number two. And this comes from a lot of the top people in basketball as well.
There's a lot of top people that say LeBron's better than Jordan. Scottie Pippen said it. Lambeer said it. Oscar Robertson said it. Van Gundy said it. Not yet.
No, I think Pippen said that he had the potential to be better, and he was all around, but he wasn't the better player. I don't know, whatever that means.
I sent you the video. He said that LeBron was better.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of people that go both ways that know basketball. Now the reason the majority of
but you're the minority. You have to admit that you're the minority. And the people that you're mentioning are the minority.
And even though our generation is so much older, because the kids born in the 90s don't remember as much. It's
the kids born in the 90s have YouTube. You can watch games, any game you want on YouTube.
It's not like watching a season. It's not like knowing the game back then. You go back and you watch something, you're not living it.
I watched it.
I lived it.
I have memories when I was 8, 9, 10 years old. I do have memories. Okay, I wasn't 3 years old.
Yeah,
you were 5, 6.
Well, that kind of takes us a little bit to the franchises then. You're talking about the Spurs back then, and Michael didn't win championships unless he had Scottie Pippen on there, the coach that they had on there, and some of the key players that were with him. So what do you think that franchise would do against maybe the Spurs of the 90s, the Lakers of the 90s, or the 2000s, I should say, and or the Warriors now, the Rockets, all these teams?
Look, I honestly rank those Bulls third. I got the best team that I've ever seen, and I don't know how anybody can disagree with this, was that Warriors team. Not even the 73 win Warriors, the ones with KD. KD, Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, Draymond Green. That's number one. I don't think anybody ever can beat that team. Now, LeBron beat that team, but they were down, I think, for one game, Draymond Green, right?
Draymond Green and Boga got hurt.
Yeah. Oh, but
Boga got hurt.
Right.
Yeah, but he's a presence. He was a presence.
The second place team I have ever is those Lakers, those three-peat Lakers with Shaq and Kobe. Shaq was just the most dominant player I've ever seen. That's the reason. And then those Bulls. Now, fourth, I have to go with the Spurs.
Wow.
Yeah. Now I think that last championship that the Spurs won, that team was amazing.
They just meshed together so well. That 2014, and Kawhi wasn't even as good as he is now, but he was good. He got the MVP.
See, but you're not even like, I mean, those Spurs wouldn't have beaten the Celtics in their prime in '84. Those Spurs wouldn't have beaten the '88 Lakers when they had James Worthy, Matt Johnson, Cooper, Aaron Scott, Kareem.
Those Spurs dominated that year. No one even played the type of basketball. The ball was being passed around and being scored.
Where did that derive from, Charlie? Did it derive from the Showtime Lakers passing the ball around?
They actually give credit to the Spurs. They actually give credit to the Spurs that now the teams pass it around so well, even Golden State.
No, I mean, that team, the way they played team basketball, it was competed with any team.
So did the Showtime Lakers play team basketball? Let me ask you that question.
They did, yeah, they did.
Okay, so it didn't come from the Spurs. It was around. The only difference is that Michael Jordan ruined the game with the one-on-one stuff, but it was always a team game until Michael Jordan showed up.
So how is he the GOAT?
The passing was amazing, though, with the Spurs.
Player.
I mean, you had Magic Johnson that passed the ball amazing.
Right.
But this guy.
Kareem was a great passer, too.
This was the whole thing. Kareem from inside to out.
There was motion to the ball for purpose, not just to find the open man, but to create an open man.
That's been going around forever, Charlie. The Princeton offense was. You know what? You know what? I'm going to tell you another team that passed the ball beautifully was the Sacramento Kings when they had the Princeton offense, when they had Weber and all those guys, Stojakovic, Divac. Those guys passed the ball, moved the ball beautifully. It did not come from the Spurs.
Oh, well, you know what? Those Kings. Actually, the reason they lost to the Lakers was because of the refs. Remember, they put a bet on that game.
That's the conspiracy.
Yes, that's
true.
But you know,
that was what, 2000 or when was that?
It would have ruined the three-peat.
Yeah,
that ball passing that the Spurs that had not been seen for years, though. So that's why they give a lot of credit.
No, and I'm not taking anything away from them
for that.
I'm not taking anything away from them. I'm just saying it didn't derive from them.
And you don't make the playoffs 22 years in a row, winning seasons 22 years in a row if you're not a great franchise. And they're the only franchise that has not had a losing season in that long. I mean, the Lakers couldn't make playoffs for 7 years.
We're talking about teams, like years per year. So what team?
Yeah.
What order?
I like the 88 Lakers.
Very difficult. Very difficult.
It's very difficult. It is.
What
Very,
about
very
that?
difficult. But I would put one of the Warriors teams up there with them, as long as, and of course, one of the Bulls teams up there.
The 10-loss one team? I mean, that team was amazing.
You see that the Warriors broke their record, but then LeBron beat them.
Right.
But I really like Shaq underneath, because the way that they used to let him play back then, he is the most dominating.
The best team that the Lakers had that during that moment was when Shaq had Horace Grant and Glenn Rice. That was the best team that the Lakers had, and they won one of the championships when they had Glenn Rice, and then they replaced him with Rick Fox. But when they had Glenn Rice, that team they only lost one game in the playoffs, and it was Allen Iverson the very first game of the finals. If not, they would have swept the whole playoffs. Nobody has matched that yet.
You know, Shaq couldn't hit a free throw if he wanted to. He couldn't hit a free throw if he wanted to. But the way that they used to let him play inside, he would pound and pound, put that shoulder into you. You're moving back if that guy's gonna do that to you. So I don't know. I just like Shaq a lot. So then match him up with Kobe.
Hey, but if we think back, the 76ers had a one-loss playoff run.
Did they? The only team
Yeah.
I thought that the team was
Dr. J, man.
the team that got closest was Golden State, from what I remember. I may be wrong.
Dr. J, I think they had a one-loss run as well.
I think the Lakers came out and they celebrated when Golden State lost another game because they have the record.
I'll check that out while you guys discuss this. We'll figure that one out.
I think the Warriors just take the cake. Like nobody could beat that team. They had 2 MVP candidates on their team, 4 All-Stars.
But like I said, you can't compare eras, because if you drop that Golden State team like somewhere else, they're not that physical. Curry would not last in the 90s.
This team is shooting threes from like half court and making them that year.
Yeah, I don't think he would have lasted in that era. He's just so real. They give him so much room.
I'm talking about a 7-game series. This team versus that team, a 7-game series. He can last.
I don't know. The Lakers probably would have pounded him in there.
Who?
The Lakers. They had some shooting, man. I don't. That's my opinion.
So we just don't think very much of all these Bulls teams, though. The 6 teams were probably not the greatest ever. They were just
and this is the thing. Phil Jackson was so great that this is what he would do when somebody had a dominant center. He had that three-headed monster. He was Will Perdue, Bill Wennington, and Luke Longley, and each of them brought a different skill, and they would just pound the centers. When it was the fourth quarter, they were just worn down.
That's another advantage.
He had a really good strategy.
That's another advantage that Jordan has had over LeBron. LeBron has never had a coach that's is a real good coach. He's always had first-year coaches, and then he drags them to the finals.
Are you talking smack about Bill Walton?
Bill Walton?
I'm sorry. What was his name? Walton? Luke Walton.
Luke Walton.
I'm sorry.
Luke Walton, Eric Spoelstra, the guy that lasted half a season.
Blatt.
Yeah.
David Blatt.
The brown guy was his best coach.
You think with Popovich he would have done a lot better?
Definitely.
What about Phil Jackson?
He probably would have won 6.
There's a lot of coaches.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, Phil Jackson just coached teams with great players, and
I would too. If I had that option, I would too.
But you have to give him credit for being able to keep them together and make them work. So you have to give him credit for that. But
because the Lakers never won either without him. They had Bill Harris there before him, and they never won. So
look, the Bulls never won without Phil Jackson. Jordan never won without Phil Jackson. Scottie Pippen never won without Phil Jackson. He almost did. Kobe never won without Phil Jackson. Shaq did, but Shaq went out with another All-Star. Phil Jackson was a great coach.
Yeah.
Go.
One thing
but look
quick,
at the names that you're saying. Look at the names. Yeah. Look at those guys that he would coach.
And Greg Popovich never won without Tim Duncan. Remember that.
Hey,
no Tim, no ring.
Guys, real quick. Philadelphia, 1982-83, 12-1.
So they tied him.
Yeah.
But
But was there more playoff games now
yes,
to where the Lakers had more wins?
yes, because it
Yeah.
used to be best out of 5 in the first couple rounds.
Right.
No,
So they
well,
stuck the
they
record.
went
Yeah,
4-0.
remember
They
that.
went 4-0, 4-1, 4-0. They beat.
It was for.
They beat. Let's see. They beat. I don't know who the hell they beat. The Knicks, the Bucks, the Lakers.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have no idea.
4-0.
Who played 71.
4-0
I
against the
wasn't born in
Lakers.
71.
You were born, and you were crying that day, man.
I wasn't
I
born.
saw the tear. Get another close up. Yeah, there's a tear.
But I did see it on NBA TV though. No, I'm kidding.
I did it on YouTube, and I felt like part of the team.
Maybe one day you can learn how to use YouTube, Dad.
One day,
You know, Avery Johnson didn't think they had an answer for Tim Duncan. That the Bulls would have an answer for Tim Duncan or David Robinson, for that matter. And I kind of agree.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, I think Phil Jackson had those three thugs in there, those three-headed monster. They were over 7 foot, and I'm not saying they would have stopped him, but I think they would have slowed him down. Especially David Robinson, they were just too big for them. On top of that, who was going to guard Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen? Who? I mean, Vinny Del Negro.
That's what I was about to say. Like
Yeah.
they didn't have anybody to stop Tim Duncan or David Robinson, but nobody had anybody to stop Jordan or Pippen. Like the Spurs didn't have anybody to guard them at that time.
And then one more thing I want to point out.
Remember that they're known for their defense. They weren't even known for their offense. They're known for their defense. Of course, they would have stopped them. They had always had great defensive stoppers.
Wait, they would have stopped Jordan, the GOAT?
Well, no, not
Vinny Del Negro.
He's going to get his points. He's going to get his points, and some players are going to, but they're going to stop everybody else.
Yeah, I don't know, but one thing I want to mention is that Phil Jackson in the playoffs, he's 4-1 versus Popovich, so he would have found a way.
No,
Yes,
no. David, can you look up that fact also?
please.
Yeah.
Gilbert is making numbers here
he
again.
would have found a way. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. No, that sounds good, man. All right. Any other arguments about LeBron and Michael Jordan? Are you guys okay
I have
with
an
that?
argument.
There's no argument.
Your
Only
whole
people that disagree with
your whole little
things that they don't know
argument,
about.
your whole little argument had to do with how great he was, and he was like a god, and how people saw him. You didn't say any facts. Everything opinion. Okay?
Well, the facts speak for themselves. Look, I mean,
Look at what?
people are saying. Look at 6-0 in the finals, 6 championships, the scoring title whenever he
Listen.
won it. A great defender if he had to. I mean,
Listen.
who's going to get the ball if it comes down to it? I am. No, I'm going to
He
pass.
sure got the ball. Paxson got the ball. What are you talking about?
No. He gave him it one
I
time.
watched that documentary.
But the game's on the line, and
when he
he
shot
had
against Indiana, game 1.
to take it. He was going to take it.
He missed a game when he shot
You
against
don't pay
Indiana, game
attention
1.
to the things that you watch. No wonder you don't know.
LeBron-
Because he
LeBron
said it right
passes the
there, right
ball.
on the video. He said it right there. If somebody has the shot, who's going to get the ball? Me. Of
LeBron
course.
passes the ball makes the correct play at the end of the game. He gets shit for it. Jordan does the same thing, and they're like, "Oh, he planned it." Trash.
Yeah, he's trash.
Trash. And not only that,
There you
not
go.
only that, the argument about who has a bigger impact out of the game of basketball, that's going to LeBron now. Especially after this documentary and how his black teammate that went to the White House dressed in that thing, Jordan didn't stand up for anything. Jordan was about himself. LeBron built a school for kids. LeBron donates all this money to charity. LeBron gives back so much to people. And he's not afraid to state his opinion.
Well, I'll research stuff like that for next time. But anyway, the greatest player.
We're talking about player though.
was Michael
Yeah,
Jordan.
okay, skills. Even Magic said that LeBron's the best player of all time. He said, this is what he said. Jordan's the best player of all time. I mean, LeBron, but MJ's the GOAT. I don't know how much sense that makes, but that's what he said.
Well,
yeah,
that's
Magic,
right.
I don't really put it too much into Magic. He's got a different opinion every week on things like that. I mean, I don't, But the majority just say Jordan. The majority does say Jordan.
All right, guys.
That's gonna
That's a
change.
good argument, man. I think
I
we've
say
already
it's beyond.
We argued it about a year and a half ago. We didn't have a good answer. I thought Carlos at that time took it because of his stats and everything. And so you guys, if you guys want to go back and check out that video,
No, but
check it out.
David, stats lie, David. You cannot say that. Emmitt Smith's not the best running back in the NFL, and he's got the most yards. His numbers are better than everybody's, and he's not the best running back. Karl Malone is not the best power, and he's got better numbers than Tim Duncan. Numbers lie. You cannot just say just based on numbers.
Yeah. Well, you can also say that Emmitt Smith has three rings and Barry Sanders has no rings.
Okay, but would you say that Emmitt Smith is a better running back?
Wait a minute. Did Gilbert even mention Barry Sanders?
No, I'm saying that Emmitt Smith is not the best running back.
Barry Sanders, and you said Barry Sanders has. So how did you know he was referring to Barry Sanders?
I was referring to Barry Sanders.
Okay,
because
but how do you know he was referring? How do you know he was referring to Barry Sanders?
I could have said Walter Payton.
No. I would take Walter Payton ahead of.
In your mind, Barry Sanders is a better player too.
I would take Walter Payton ahead of Emmitt Smith too.
Huh?
I would take Walter Payton ahead of Emmitt Smith also.
Yeah, so would I. And I'd probably take Tony Dorsett because I like the way he ran better. So.
Yeah, Tony Dorsett.
So my point is that numbers aren't always, accurate. Just because somebody has better numbers, that doesn't mean that he's better.
So then, how are we supposed to determine who's the best player of all time? How are we supposed to determine that? The eye test?
So not by rings.
We talked about the eye test and how bad it was last time.
And that's why it's a debate because you never win these battles really.
Never.
Yeah. No. So we figured out it's not by rings, it's not by stats. So it's just by what you see, I guess. I don't know.
Eye test.
Eye test.
The eye test. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
All right, guys, that was a good argument, man. You all, I don't know, nobody won. I think we'll give it to nobody this time. Next time, I don't know. We'll see. But anything, I'm looking forward to our group chatting on Facebook. Hopefully, we'll all start putting on some comments there and bringing on some people, and let's see if they get angry at us. I don't know.
I don't know. There's no reason to get angry. You could get a little bit passionate over the things, but well, angry is another word.
Okay, well, I'm on that Psycho Cowboys one, and people get angry.
Oh, they get angry.
You badmouth Dak one time, and it's like, what? We're gonna kill you. It's like
Next time.
They should trade his butt. Selfish.
So,
I was a
man.
supporter all season long, and I'm starting not to like this guy's little attitude, man. Get rid of him. If we can't, did he actually say that? If they can't afford him, we'll send him to a team that could afford him. Yeah, send him somewhere, wherever they want to afford him.
Yeah.
The deal would be done if we took send him for 4 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
It doesn't matter if his heart isn't really there. His heart isn't there, or his heart is not in winning. His heart is making in as much money as he possibly can and having the best deal ever in football without even being the best quarterback in football. And he wants to be the highest paid. That's his deal. He's not about winning. He's not about team. He's not about anything. He's about himself.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's not about the team. It's not about having a great team around you. It's just about how much money you can make, how high you can take that money to keep on making more money for more quarterbacks, and that's what they're worried about. Instead of worrying about
winning a Super Bowl.
Remember, Romo asked for the most money in the history of the Cowboys, and Romo got it
because Romo was good
in the history of the Cowboys. But he was good, actually. Yeah, He was accurate. I mean, have you seen his passes?
I forgot. According to you guys, Romo was a better quarterback than Joe Montana. I forgot about that one.
Yeah, he was more accurate, man. He had more mobility than Joe Montana.
Championships don't determine who's
exactly. 4 rings doesn't really matter.
That doesn't matter.
Romo was better, dude. That's all there is to it. The guy was good.
If there's any comments out there, please put these guys in check about that.
Look, dude, you just go by what you hear. Oh, he won 4 championships. He's the greatest. Joe Montana was okay, but he got lucky with the pass to
the eye test. I saw him. I saw those drives that he did, and they weren't field goal drives. They were game-winning pinpoint throwing throws.
West Coast offense. That's what did it for him, man. That's what did it for him. He was able to dink and dunk and get to where he.
I think he also got to the AFC Championship with the Kansas City Chiefs when he was already older. I believe.
Yeah, he was. He did. He was good.
Yeah.
Nobody's saying he wasn't good.
Better than Romo.
It's not as good as Romo. I love seeing those replays of Romo's passes, and I was just thinking, gee, if Dak could do that, he'd be amazing.
But you know what he did get from him? The pick sixes. All those pick sixes.
Yeah, Aikman had more interceptions than Romo did, so it's not a big deal. Stats are a bullshit thing.
So we go back and forth in this shit. Okay. No,
that's when they start beating you in the argument, you just go back to that. Stats don't mean anything. That's all right. Doesn't matter. All right, guys, man. Hey, it's been good talking to you guys.
Yeah. Maybe next time we get together, we'll all get a haircut. Just saying. I don't have a haircut.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it tonight. Actually, I'm gonna cut tonight.
I'll do it.
All right.
All right.
No. All right, guys. Y'all take care. Have a good
All
night.
right. Thanks. Peace.
Yeah.
Peace.